Hello and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I am going to speak to you about why Japan has one of the lowest obesity rates in the world. At the time of recording this video, the obesity rate in the adult population is at about 3.6%, which does make it extremely low. So after about 15 months of me living there, coupled with what I do as a living, which is a personal trainer specializing in weight loss, I am going to break down to you in this video some of the reasons why I believe Japan has one of the lowest obesity rates in the world. So I'm going to go through these points in no particular order, although before I start, I do want to say, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do subscribe. Otherwise, let's just get stuck in. So the first reason I do believe is contributing to Japan's extremely low obesity rate is the fact that they have amazing public transport, especially in its major cities such as Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. And obviously, if you have amazing public transport, and as well as that your cities are built up to be a lot less dependent on cars, then that naturally means a lot more walking, because of course the public transport isn't going to take you directly from the doorstep of your house to your destination. So there's going to be more walking in between. And of course, if there is more walking in between, then that does contribute to Japanese people on average, and studies have shown this compared to Americans at least, they have a higher step count, and more steps, more walking goes a long way to helping keep obesity rates lower. And now the second potential reason that I believe is helping keep obesity rates in Japan lower is that in Japan, it's not unusual to have a dining experience that consists of dozens of small dishes by the end of it. And let me tell you why I believe this is helping keep obesity rates low, is because number one, when you've got dozens of small dishes with little bits of food on, you are more likely to consume less overall calories. So that's number one. And then number two, of course, you can always have more food. You just have to keep repeatedly ordering more, which gives your body more time to signal to the brain that it's full. Whereas in the West, we typically have one plate with one big portion size on, and that means that it's just very easy to continuously keep eating more food and therefore not have that pause in between, which with the dozens of small dishes we are forced to have. And overall, that's why I believe having the dozens of small dishes does help. And now point number three, and again, this is in no particular order, is bento boxes. And basically these are ready-made lunch boxes that are incredibly popular in Japan. And if you've been there before, then you'll know that convenience stores sell bento boxes, as well as loads of other places, but you can typically find this in convenience stores as well. And convenience stores are basically everywhere there, especially in Tokyo and just the major cities. Now, when you have all these bento boxes, and generally speaking, they have decent amounts of protein in, they have vegetables in, they have fiber in, and just basically a lot of nutritious foods in, again, typically speaking, not all, but a lot do, then it becomes easier to consistently consume more nutritious foods. Whereas in Western countries, and I'm going to speak more for the UK, which is where I was born and raised, ready-made foods aren't typically the nicest things to have, and they can sometimes be more expensive. So I just find that basically convenience to eat healthy in Japan, especially without breaking the bank, is unmatched out there. I just quickly wanted to interrupt this video to let you know about my free fat loss guide. So if you want a free fat loss guide, click the link that I'm going to put in the caption of this video, and that link is going to take you to my website. And then from my website, you can grab a free fat loss guide. And now the next potential reason that I do think is helping contribute to lower obesity rates in Japan is the fact that I do think that chopsticks do help slow down the rate, or the speed I should say, that you're eating at. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of people out there that can eat incredibly quickly with chopsticks, but when you compare it to a fork and a knife or a spoon, then it's much easier to eat a lot faster and shovel a lot more food into your mouth at one go with those compared to chopsticks. So with you eating with chopsticks and therefore potentially slowing it down, even if it's just by a little bit, again, like I mentioned in the previous point, you're giving your body more time to signal to your brain that it's full, which does go a long way, a lot further than you perhaps think when it comes to the overall obesity rate in a country. And now the next potential reason is liquid calories. So in the West, and I'm speaking for the West because I've lived in the UK, I've lived in the US, I've lived in Portugal, and I've visited many other countries. We tend to consume a lot of calories from liquids, whether it's from sodas, energy drinks, smoothies, whatever it might be. Whereas in Japan, and in Japan, obviously people drink these things as well, but the most popular beverage by far is the hundreds of different flavored teas. and tea is 0 calories. Now that therefore means that the majority of the calories that people are consuming out there are from solid foods, and if it's from solid foods, that means it's filling them up more, because solid foods are more filling than liquid calories. Whereas again, in the West, we're drinking a lot of the calories, which isn't filling, and so we're having that on top of all the solid foods that we're having as well. And now the final potential reason that I'm going to mention, and this is nutrition and physical activity in regard to, the walking aside, is beauty standards. Beauty standards definitely cannot be ignored, and they have to be included in this list. And the reason why I believe this is obviously contributing to super low obesity rates in Japan is because in the West, nowadays, what is often more pushed when it comes to beauty standards is a more thicker look. Whereas in Japan, according to a lot of my Japanese friends, skinny is what's deemed as more attractive. So obviously, take from that what you will, but this is what I've heard from my experience, and this is obviously definitely going to contribute. Now, overall, I really want to emphasize that this is not a be-all and end-all list. Of course, there's going to be other factors that are impacting Japan's super low obesity rate, and if any come to mind for you, definitely feel free to leave them as a comment below in the video. Again, these are just a few factors that I noticed from my 15 months of living there. Of course, I would love to be showing you this video out in Japan, but unfortunately, I can't do that right now. I'm in Portugal in my dining room, and I guess this is just gonna have to be the next best thing. Although one day I do plan to record a video out there expanding on this topic so much more. And again, if you want that free fat loss guide, then click the link in the caption of this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video, share it with your group chat. Take care, and I'll see you around.